Monday update, part 2. So, to get the carbon and ceramic dust off, by doing with the suction and the earwax remover. Pulling out the light stuff. Well, that light layer right there is what's it gets caught up in this layer here. See, and this layer down here settles quicker because it's still heavier than this layer. So, just by adding the water, you're kicking up the carbon and stuff. You just keep doing that over and over and cleaning it up, and it keeps pulling the stuff up out of there. See, if you spin it up, you spin this layer up right here, right down to that layer. You just spin it up at the top of the glass, and that starts pulling up a little bit more of this material that's down in there as well. So when it gets clear like this, so what you do is spin that up and pour that entire layer right there. But you see there's 2 layers in there as well. There could be 2 layers in there, but that's probably 100% because it came out of the big batch. All this in here is the pour off into the what settles into the bottom after pouring off all the carbon and ceramic dust. See, that's all the stuff, that's the fine stuff that settles at the bottom, but it's still that amount we're dealing with. This entire amount is heavier or a different weight than what's in the other containers. The other square containers that were processed yesterday and fried off in the pans, they weigh differently, so they separate differently. But this is ready to be poured off. So how I got to this point, I'm not adding water, by pouring it in. Just you get the level right here, and then you spin it up with a paddle. You spin it up to where you start forming a layer. You spin everything up from top to bottom, and when you slow down on the rotations on the paddle, you start bringing it up higher, and just keep turning it, you'll see a layer start forming right here. And you just keep turning it to keep the heavier stuff in water, in circulation. See, in this heavier stuff, it won't be circulating. It's settling down here because it's heavier, because of the slower rotations. So you can spin that up right down here and pour it off, and there's 2 different layers. But if you look closely, you can see there's 3 in there. That may be rhodium or something like that. Something that there's not very much of when it comes to electronics, because there's a lot of the other stuff, considering the amount processed at once, which was 70 ounces altogether. So we're expecting, you know, an ounce of something and 5 ounces of copper, or a half ounce of gold, or all depends on what the amount of material, quality. This is, we know, is 24 karat gold bond wire material. This right here, and these 8 different metals in the process, making IC processing chips. This other container, this is another large separation, you know, of the same thing. There's a lot of it in there. That was one of the layers in here from the original material when it was all together, when the mud was that deep, you know. But this layer may have came from separating in a different layer. See, it's a darker gray layer. Might be silver. Silver's a lighter metal. Palladium's a heavier metal. There's so little right there. It's only just a fine line of carbon and the silicon fragments that are still, you know, in a couple pieces still mixed together. You can see it in one of these. Well, you can kind of see in the wires little tiny unbroken pieces, but fracture them in the water after heating them up. That little bit of dark right there might just be a little bit more carbon and ceramic dust right down in here, and might clean up a little better. That whole layer will come right off of there. Put it in another glass, transfer it.